This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hey everybody, Matt Sanderson here joining you for another episode of Attack Wrap. And on Attack Wrap today, somebody that's very familiar to our show year in and year out. We have GM Dale DeGray on with us. Dale, thanks for joining us.
Matt, thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
We were just going, and I was going and chatting with you about the light powder blue Owen Sound Attack strip that you got going on there. It's looking pretty snazzy. I know you're kind of slowly getting ready here to maybe more or less put the wheels in motion. But is this a little different right now, Dale, that you're into September and you're not looking at finalizing a team or seeing any of these young kids play yet?
Yeah, it's definitely different, and it's funny. I was just talking to my neighbor this afternoon, and he was asking me. He's a big OHL fan, and just asking about the process of how we can move forward, and even if that's even possible with the conditions sort of that we're sort of all seeing now. But we certainly miss it. I've talked to some players. I've talked to the coaches. And everybody would prefer and like to be at the rink, playing on the white sheet and moving forward, with the anticipation of the season starting. But it is different, no different than probably a lot of people's lives and the situations that they're all in as well.
Dale, I know you chatted with Greg Cowan a couple weeks back in the sense of kind of what's going on and what you guys are doing to take the proper measures. Now that we have that opportunity to be able to chat with you, we're going to kind of jump into a little bit of those things. But when you really look at how some of these players are going to get back from different countries or being out of province or being out of the country, so to speak, what is kind of the protocol that you guys are going to be taking? I know hearing through the grapevine that it's probably you're going to be taking some of these guys maybe a little earlier away from home.
Well, the whole idea will be to make sure that they're back in town with as much time as possible, so we can quarantine them for 2 weeks and make sure that they're healthy, they get tested, and that they're able to come into. Listen, there's been basically no cases, in and around Owen Sound, and we don't want to add to, any issues that there could be. So if they come in, they quarantine, they're deemed healthy. I think that's the only way to do it. I mean, I know we're going to take some other measures in and around the dressing room and the facility, but as far as the boys themselves, yeah, they're going to have to come in earlier than normal. Just to quarantine themselves and make sure that everything tests, negative, the way that we would expect. And
Dale, as you know, because of the fact that I do go and broadcast the team and broadcast about the team, and I'm constantly hearing news in and out about the Owen Sound Attack, I always get mentioned. I always get questions of, what's going on with the OHL? Well, I don't know as much as anybody else does, so I really can't answer that. But the one thing that somebody did mention to me, Dale, that I think that this is a very intriguing question was, what happens in the sense of being a billet family and having these young kids into a billet home?
Yeah, first off, we've got some fabulous billets, first and foremost. We've got some billets that have been doing it for, over 20 years. So it speaks to them as people and families, and it speaks to their love of the team and having the individuals players come through. But it's going to be a little bit tricky. But I think if kids are tested prior to coming in, which is something that we've talked about, and billets will probably want to be tested so that we make sure that everybody's starting from a ground level zero. And if that's the case, then we have a better idea of how do we keep a bubble, a smaller bubble. And it might be a bubble within the team, and it might be a bubble with a boy at a billet, and he might only be able to have contact with maybe two other billets and their kids. So it's sort of, if we ever had a spike or an issue with a player, we'll know that mostly it's going to be concentrated around these 4, 5, 6 kids, and not all 19 or 23, right? So it's we've had some billets not look to re-go this year and not billet this year, and maybe I'll take this time to even ask the people out there, if they're interested in billeting, if they've thought about billeting in the past, to please reach out to the Attack office or call myself, or email me, and get a hold of me, because I would like to talk to you about the possibility of billeting. It's a great experience. A lot of them, like I said, a lot of billets have been doing it for 5, 6, 7, and even upwards of 20 years, and they have a great relationship with the players. But listen, it's a lot to ask of a family on a normal year. It's even that much more to ask of a family under the circumstances. But I can tell you that our plan is to shrink the boys' bubble the best that we can, and sort of move forward from there. Like I said, we're going to be doing everything we can at the Bayshore, in the dressing room, in the school room. I know one of the things, the boys are going to be taking online courses as to get their credits for high school, and they're starting in the next couple of days through Blue Water District. So they won't be at school, so their bubble will automatically be that much smaller to begin with.
Yeah, and you mentioned a great point. The beautiful thing about Owen Sound here, everybody, is the Owen Sound Attack faithful. It seems like when there's a call for even a little bit of help, such as even being a billet and allowing some of these players into your home, Owen Sound fans, they seem as if they always step up. So we are just reaching out and asking if anybody does have that inkling of wanting to be a billet, or as Dale said, maybe even one before, please go and call the Owen Sound Attack box office. You can also reach out to Dale DeGray himself, and just make sure that we can kind of get that word flowing, because it'd be definitely important. Dale, as we switch kind of courses here, we go and talk about the rink at the facility, and you and I have already mentioned the fact that, geez, it's going to be weird this year not having as many fans in the Bayshore. It doesn't seem like the Bayshore without it being packed to the brim, 3,000 plus. But what are you guys doing this year to kind of implement safety precautions and trying to get fans through the door? What are kind of all those procedures?
Well, first off, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. So a lot depends on the government and what exactly they're willing to allow us to do moving forward. And if it means that, we can only have 30% or 50%, or if they say, hey, open it up, and it's, obviously, I personally believe that masks should and probably will be mandatory. You won't probably be able to come in without getting your temperature taken and questions asked of, your travel and, or, how basically are you feeling? Do you feel, do you feel like you're COVID free? So I think if that's the case, and everybody that's there is under the same assumption that the person they're sitting with and or near is COVID free and wearing a mask and all of that, I think everybody should, in my opinion, should be pretty safe. But we're trying to get the we've got the air ducts and the airflow. We're trying to get those looked after. As far as I think it's an infrared device that will clean the air on a circulation basis. We've purchased a machine to put in the dressing room and in the trainer's room, the gym, that looks after hard surfaces. So that will be looked after. So we're trying to do everything we can. Obviously, throughout the rink, there's going to be stations where it's the antibacterial lotion will be there for everybody to use. We'll have to see what the government allows. Do they allow the canteens to be open? Quite possibly. Maybe the washrooms are basically the only form of traffic back and forth during the game. I don't know. There's lots of different things that could happen, but the government, I'm sure, is going to put in place some stipulations that everybody must follow. And I hope that come December 1st or whenever it is that we're going to be allowed to play, that if you have a ticket and you're COVID free and you've got a normal temperature and you're wearing a mask, you wash your hands before you go in, I hope you cheer loud. But it'll be one of those things where it's going to be different. And boy, the ushers and security are probably going to be put in place and told that everybody must follow the rules. And if you don't follow the rules, then you can go and listen to it on the radio. But I think everybody, we've got such a great fan base, and I know that everybody wants it to be there and come back to it. I just hope that if we get a chance to play, that everybody follows the rules and listens, and we can move forward from there. Because I think the people that are sort of ruining it for everybody else are the ones that are converging as large groups and not wearing their masks and following protocol, because I think for the most part, Ontarians are doing a great job.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there, Dale. I think the proper government officials are really trying to crack down on this, which is definitely a good thing. In regards to one thing that's special about the Bay Shore as opposed to other arenas is, there's interaction with fans, but it's a little different at the Bay Shore. There's always a home, welcoming feeling. What is that going to be like in the sense of these players coming out of the tunnels, fans being right around the area of visiting or home players exiting in and out? What is that going to kind of look like? Is there going to be any barriers there? Have you got to that point?
Yeah, we really have, Matt, and there will be there'll be tunnels that'll be able to be pushed towards the glass, and then they would retract while the game's going on. It's something, quite honestly, that the league has asked teams to do over the past number of years, mostly for playoffs, because as you know, if there's games when we're going to play the green and gold, it can get pretty ugly. Somebody leaving the ice, going down their tunnel, and so it's safety in that way as well. But this way there will be a little less interaction, at least at this time. I'm sure at some point when there's a vaccine and everybody feels comfortable and safe, that we will probably go back to it on our side, where we'll have free contact and communication and high fives, for everybody coming and going from the ice. But at this point, we'll be using a tunnel barrier between us and the fans right to the glass.
Dale, the other thing that I do always kind of get questions on is season ticket holders will go and they'll ask us, oh, well, what's going on? We purchased our tickets, but are we going to be able to go to each game? I know, talking to a couple of members in the Attack organization, you guys have a good place, a good thing implemented there. Are you able to kind of talk a little bit about that in the sense of season ticket holders?
Yeah, Matt, I'm going to be honest with you. It's sort of not my realm to talk too much about the season ticket holders, other than the fact that you know what, we've got a great fan base, and I hope that all season ticket holders are able to come and partake in the games on a nightly basis. But I mean, I know we've got somewhere upwards between 1,400 and 1,500 season tickets sold right now. It's hard to say, because what will the government say? Will they say that you can only have 25% capacity, a 50% capacity? I don't see. That's why it's hard to say. Obviously, my take would be open the doors and have everybody use the safety precautions and let's pack it. Quite honestly, it would be fantastic, and I know our fans would probably welcome that. But as far as who can come or how many can come, it's hard for me to talk too much about that because I have no idea. I really don't.
So we'll go and
I'm not trying. Hey, I'm not trying to skirt the issue here. I just really don't know, and I would hate to make comments that I really know nothing about.
No, well, we appreciate your honesty, and we do have Alan Gibbons and Greg Hodnott actually going to be coming on the show with us in a couple weeks. So we can also address the issue there, and I know those guys will be able to give us a good insight.
They'll be able to fill you in for sure. Absolutely, yeah.
All right, so Dale, when you look at kind of the overall spectrum, if everything plays out the way that they're wanting it to, the ruling right now is it starts December the 1st, and the regular season ends at the end of April. So that's essentially 5 months worth of hockey. And they're taking 7 months worth of hockey and putting it into 5 months. What is that going to lead to kind of overall? Because there's going to be a lot of hockey throughout the week.
Well, there'll be a lot of hockey, yeah. And it's, I think the big thing is going to probably be that we'll see some games on Monday and Tuesdays now where, in the past, you might play one Tuesday game, in the first half and maybe one in the second half, and that would be about it. We've had some Tuesday games mostly due to, snowed out games, right? Where we've had to reschedule them. But I think now if you play, let's say you play on a Friday, Saturday, maybe you play on a Monday, and then you play on the Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So you can see how you might be able to squeeze in, 4 or 5 games on an extended, 8-day week, I would say, using the Monday, right? But I think everybody will be in the same situation. The tricky part, I think, for the coaches and for me will be, do you keep, 22 players or do you keep, 25 players? Because are there going to be injuries? I would bet there will be. Are you going to have some fatigued players, fatigued goalies? One thing that I feel very comfortable with, no matter how many games we play each week, we've got a great tandem in net, and I would be hard pressed to think too many teams would have a better 1-2 punch in net than we would. So I think in that regard, we would probably be a stronger team starting the season with two very, very good goalies.
When you really break this down, this is kind of a new test for some of these younger players coming in. Dale, obviously you guys had a very good draft this year, and there's a lot of young talent coming down the pipe. You as the GM of this organization, what do you say to these young kids, these rookies coming in here in a very weird and different year, trying to make this team? Is it maybe something that they have to prep a little bit more for?
Well, do you prepare? I don't know. Like Matt, you said it. It's weird. It's different, and it's something that's going to be a little bit of trial and error. But I can tell you, the kids, Cedric Guindon, he's really working hard. He's playing in a league in the Ottawa area, and his agent sent me some stats on how he's doing, and he's playing against some guys that are very good juniors and very good juniors that have left over the last 2 years, and he's leading the league in scoring. So I'm sitting there going, hey, it's only 2 weeks in, but he's second in goals and he's first in points. So whatever he's doing, I hope he just brings it right through to Owen Sound. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where we'll still want to see where they're at come the first part of training camp, come the first part of the season, and give them. I know with Alatang, he's going to want to see them in all the situations early in the season to see what they can and maybe what they can't do, so that we can build off of that moving forward, just basically to help them out. But you're right when you say it's going to be a little bit different this year. There's no question it's going to be a little bit different. But I think we've always been pretty patient with our kids and tried to put them in situations to have success, and we'll continue to do the same thing. But it might be a lot more games than they're ever used to, and under a lot higher pressure.
So we only have about 10 minutes left of the show here, Dale. One of the things that kind of people are also talking about is, what exactly is going to happen in the sense of what's going on overall with even the American teams and whatnot. And now listen, I know you're a general manager in the league and you can't really comment on what the OHL brass is actually going to go and implement. But kind of the way that you see everything, is there a possibility you think that maybe you have some of these three teams come into Ontario and make it strictly Ontario based?
Yeah, I don't know if the league really wants to do that. Could it be something that we do? I guess, but I think you'd be asking a lot of those three teams. Yeah, Matt, myself, I don't see it. I think what we'll probably be doing is hoping and waiting to see that the government. I know this sort of probably rub a lot of people the wrong way, but open the borders. So yeah, and I mean, if somebody was to ask me would I vote on opening the borders right now, I would probably say no. I think we all get enough, American news to see what we really think of what's going on down there. So yeah, it would be difficult to vote on saying yes for that, but I mean, it's really not in my hands to do so anyways.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I know you did say that you've got a conference call, I think, actually coming up soon with the league. So maybe they'll be able to kind of address things a little bit more there. When you're looking overall at this season beginning, let's talk positive and say the season's going forward. What are you looking forward to most with this Owen Sound Attack team?
Well, just like for me, it's seeing the young kids, the first couple of weeks interacting with the veterans, and seeing, who, I mean, I know they're all working their butts off, but seeing who really puts that in place and shows basically the way and the reason we drafted them, where we drafted them, and. For me, that's the most exciting part. Second to that would probably be, the kids who were first year guys last year, and then, taking what they learned from last year and then having now an extended summer basically, and being able to put that into, where does Denny Gore get to, right? Where does Josh Szymanski get to? Right. So it's one of those things, like for all those kids, that's what you sort of wonder, where's the next step for these kids? And for me, you expect the expectations are always there with the veterans. So my excitement is less with them only because I kind of expect that. But with the young kids, you want to see the steps that they take or have taken and where it places them amongst your group of basic 20 guys.
So now, because of the way that the season ended and you didn't necessarily get to finish the season, get into the playoffs, what happens with the record, Dale, of Owen Sound consistently making the playoffs 11 or 12 years in a row? What happens with that? Does the streak still stay alive technically?
100%. Well, because we would have been a playoff team, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's the way I look at it. I mean, I mean, we got our 30 wins, so we would have been in a position to be in the playoffs. I'm going to say regardless, right? But yeah. So is there an asterisk there? Yeah. But I can tell you, in my promotion of the team and recruitment, yeah, we've made the playoffs for sure. That's the way I would look at it.
Dale, only a couple more minutes here. We do have still Alan Latang next week, and then the week after that, I do believe that we're going to be having Alan Gibbons and Greg Hodnott on the show as well. We still have some more shows coming down the pipe here. We've interviewed guys like Jonah Gadovich and Patrice Paulmu. Interviewed them last week together. That was a fun one. We've interviewed Sean Dursey. We've interviewed Trent Bork. Some alumni as well, going back to Liam Healis, and you've got Joey Hishin in that mix, a variety. Who would you like to see us go and interview in these next couple weeks?
Wow. You know what? Listen, one of my favorite guys, Liam Healis was probably one of the guys that I traded for that I really, really appreciated way more. I really liked him as a player when he was in Peterborough, and I really got a chance to watch him a lot because for the longest time I had season tickets in Oshawa, and I would see him come in, and I used to always think that there's an underutilized player, right? But one of my favorite guys that we brought in, and Jesse Blacker. He was one of my favorite players. Boy, he was incredibly skilled. He was tough. He was mean. I would love to have him come back through Owen Sound, and have our defensemen, have him take our defensemen and have him show them how to play defense and how hard it would be to play against Jesse Blacker. And Jesse Blacker was a heck of a player. So, he's one guy. But other than that, Nathan Chiarletti was a great guy to have. Like there was a lot of really, really good kids. Yeah. I really do. I think so fondly of so many of them. It'd be tough for me to really pick a guy, but I thought Jesse was quite a character. On and off the ice, and that would be interesting. But you've got some good names there that could be some interesting conversation.
Absolutely, yeah. We definitely had a lot of fun. We interviewed Petey last week, and he was actually at midnight doing the show with us. It was actually really funny. So
well, you didn't have to get him out of bed to do that.
No, exactly. Listen, Dale, we appreciate you coming on the show again. It was a lot of fun, and we hope that this season kind of gets going down the pipe, and we look forward to having you on the show again this year.
Hey, anytime, Matt. And if I could have one last say, folks, if you're thinking about billeting, I would really welcome a call or an email. They're great kids. They're great role models. But if you're thinking about it, it'd be great. Give me a call.
Great. Thanks a lot. So that does it for tonight's edition of Attack Ref. Take care. We'll see you next week.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.
You can't mean to have us go out there with a killer on the loose.
Guys.
You have truly marked yourself.